Live action remakes. Those three simple words can make hundreds of people riot. And I don't blame them. Thanks to a certain greedy mouse, let's say, live-action remakes feel sloppy, greedy, and unnecessary. However, it doesn't mean that every single live-action remake is that. Our very own Webtoon has dipped their toes into not only anime, but live-action remakes as well. This is a topic I covered a while ago with the Netflix adaptation of Love and Leashes and Vicky's version of Odd Girl Out. However, there are a bunch that have been coming out in recent years. True Beauty got a live-action adaptation, Sweet Home is getting their second season like right now, but there's one that recently came out and I recently watched, and man, oh man. If you think live action series are bland, uninspired cash grabs, you're sorely mistaken. I'm an anxious person, and I get really worried when Webtoon series cross into other forms of media. These are series that I love, and I want everyone to experience and read these. But I know live action and anime things can be disappointing. However, Lookism's anime and the Odd Girl Out live action adaptation were both really solid adaptations of the series they were based off of. So I was cautiously optimistic when two series I remember fondly were getting their own adaptation. The Girl Downstairs getting itself a really solid anime, and one of my favorite romance stories on Webtoon, Good Day to Be a Dog, getting itself a live action adaptation. For those unaware, Good Day to Be a Dog is a really cute and wholesome series that follows Hana in an unusual situation. Hana is a 28-year-old that has never ever kissed anyone. And it's not because she didn't have options. She's dated plenty of people, but she's always had one rule: no kissing. And she's had a good reason for it. She's cursed. Whenever she or any other member of her bloodline kiss someone of the opposite gender, they are cursed to turn into a dog at midnight and transforming back in the morning. And the curse is only lifted when the same person that kissed her as a human kisses her as a dog. Hana has seen firsthand that this does not go well from her sister, but she finally does want to kiss someone for the first time, getting drunk and tries to kiss her fellow teacher and current crush, Mr. Lee. But she kind of misses. Not the kiss, mind you, she lands that perfectly, instead it was the target, as she kisses Mr. Jin, another teacher who she didn't really get along with. And that's the series, right? A cute enemies to lovers story with an interesting twist of a dog curse. Well, there's one more thing. Turns out Mr. Jin, the person she accidentally kissed, yeah, he's afraid of dogs, like terrified of them. Big, small, it doesn't matter, he freezes and runs away at the sight of them. So when Hana hatches a plan to jump him as a tiny, adorable dog, it does not work. So now it's more than just a cute enemies to lovers romance story with a casual dog curse sprinkled in, it's also an interesting story about overcoming fear and anxiety, finding self-love, and finding others who will love you for who you are. It's a superb series, one of my favorite Webtoon romance series, period, and a series that I highly recommend you check out. And like I mentioned before, alongside the Girl Downstairs anime on Viki, Good Day to Be a Dog also got itself a live-action adaptation, and it's actually really great. Yeah, I was blown away. PJ Scribbles, fellow Webtoon ambassador, was equally blown away. This adaptation is so great that I used this video as an excuse to rewatch what's currently out, because at the time of recording, there's only around 8 episodes out of the 14 that are currently out. So what's up with that? How come so many other live action adaptations fail where Good Day to Be a Dog succeeds? I think it can be broken down to 3 major aspects, starting with... Now, it's no surprise that I love characters. Characters are the reason my channel exists. I'd say characters are the most important part of any series, and Good Day to Be a Dog is no different. Hana and Mr. Jin are amazingly written and fleshed out characters. They're likable and relatable. You want to see these two succeed and get together throughout the entire series. And in the Webtoon, there are a handful of other characters that are given some development. Mr. Jin's nephew, Yul, is an important side character who is the first to learn that Hana is cursed and consistently helps her get on Mr. Jin's good side. Not to mention, Mr. Lee has a really cool, mysterious, hidden backstory to him throughout the entire series. And in the adaptation, it's somehow even better. First, I gotta say that the actors they chose fit these characters perfectly. I cannot imagine someone better to represent Hana. The actress is fun and lively. She's the perfect amount of chaotic. It's great. And Mr. Jin is also amazing. He's outwardly cool and cold, but he's just a massive dork on the inside. But more importantly to us now, other characters. While I think other characters have some focus on the webtoon, they're given even more spotlight in the adaptation. I think a perfect example is Hana's sister, someone who in the webtoon was there to give advice every now and again and help Hana with some situations, but other than just being Hana's sister and having a past problem with someone finding out her curse, she's not given much. To be honest, fair, this series isn't about her. But I love what they do with her sister in the adaptation, especially with this guy. He's a brand new character. He's not in the webtoon. Now, before you get upset that they introduced a new character, he's honestly great. He has really great chemistry with Hana's sister and Hana herself. He doesn't take up so much attention that he sticks out, but his inclusion feels justified and important enough to be in the series. He's a great character and really exists to make Hana and Hana's sister stand out even more. And that's not even touching on Mr. Lee's actor, who does an amazing job of having this sweet and kind facade, but having some absolutely terrifying moments as well. Which actually brings us to another aspect this series does great with. This will be the shortest one because, unsurprisingly, the adaptation is exactly that, an adaptation of a webtoon series. With the 8 episodes out while recording this, you can basically tie specific arcs and episodes into the other episodes of this K-drama. And more importantly, they do these arcs faithfully. They keep what the webtoon wanted to get out of these arcs. I honestly can't think of an arc they decided to remove. The first group hangout, the school trip, hanging outside the school, the bullying arc, the reporter arc, it's all here. Well, kind of. This actually brings us to the last aspect, and an interestingly important one. Now, you might be questioning this. I just said it was accurate. Why is the last aspect changes? While you might think they are opposite aspects, they can coexist, and I think need to. Especially when it comes to broad strokes versus specifics. Broad strokes, the webtoon and adaptation have basically the same plot and plot points. Hana is cursed whenever she kisses someone and turns into a dog. She accidentally kisses Mr. Jin, who is someone who seemingly does not like her and who is also wildly afraid of dogs. And through a series of humorous, wholesome, and heartbreaking situations, these two fall in love. Broad strokes, these two are basically the same, but it's when you take a closer look that a number of changes come to mind. And I'll be honest, I can only really think of 1 or 2 changes that I wouldn't have minded if they didn't include. But like everything else is such a benefit to the series. I already talked about the characters, so I'll speed through that, but all of these characters in the series are given just so much more to them. I already mentioned how much more personality and characters Hana's sister has, the new inclusion of their childhood friend who's super cool, but we also get Shea, a kind of mild character in the webtoon who acts a little bit like a love rival to Hana. She has a crush on Mr. Jin, but is also not really important and only really has 1 arc in the webtoon. Meanwhile, they randomly made her a preppy rich kid who's kind of devious in the adaptation, and I'm all for it. It's so much more fun than the kind of basic character she had originally. Hana's father also appears more than just once, same with her mom, and all the characters in the adaptation just are given much more personality, much more character, which makes all the moments with them a lot more fun. Another interesting change is the curse. The curse itself doesn't change. If a member of their bloodline kisses someone of the opposite gender, they're cursed to transform into a dog until the same person kisses them when they are a dog. Change now has a time limit, where she's given 100 days to remove the curse, or she's stuck as a dog permanently. We also get this with a new character, her uncle. Kind of. This is her uncle, someone who was cursed and couldn't break it. It puts a weird amount of stakes into the series that at first I didn't think was necessary, but I think it does work well, especially having someone who couldn't break the curse in time. Meanwhile, at its core, I think most of the arcs stay the same, but there are little details that change in the adaptation that I think work very well. That first group hangout, for example. In the webtoon, it's a cute movie scene, but in the adaptation, it's an escape room. That little change weirdly makes it better, and it continues throughout most of the arcs I mentioned before. The school trip, hanging outside the school, the bullying arc, the reporter arc. They all have enough changes that it doesn't feel like you're watching the webtoon again, but live action. And honestly, I think that's why it works as well as it does. It walks a fine line of old and new, familiar and unknown. That's why I think this live action adaptation works as well as it does. It doesn't just make the series but with real people. Instead, it makes the series stand out and shine alongside of the webtoon. Not because it's based on a webtoon or not despite of a webtoon. Both of these series stand out because they're both really good series. Which is why I think you should check out Good Day to Be a Dog on Webtoon and on Viki today.